This is Gone Racin, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
And the green flag is in the air.
He remembered the flags this week.
That's right. He's got him early. Oh, wait, he's got it wrapped. There we go. He got it loose.
He's going to black flag me for that comment, probably.
Black flagging him for getting the thing. Got to work on that. Welcome in, everybody. Gone Racin, VSiN Studio, Mr. Jeffrey Motley, William Brendan Gaughan. My brothers called me Little Crash growing up. If they knew then what they knew now, they wouldn't name me that.
That was foreshadowing.
I was going to say, kind of, oh well. I ran a jet ski into the side of a 79-foot boat, full throttle. So, anyway.
And lived to tell about it. And he walked away. You know those videos?
Swam away.
And he walked away. He swam away.
Yeah. I didn't really have somebody had Dr. Droley's kid, Rico, had to come in and get me. Welcome in, guys. Welcome to Gone Racin. Mr. Motley, we had a not Crayola Crayon 301 last week, and I'm going to have to start this show. I am whooping everybody in the Gone Racin betting league, and it's very obvious, and I will be continue to kind of pound that, and not to the point where I crash and burn because I'm over bragging. Just want to make sure, we tell the folks at home I'm on fire this year. But I think I get a minus 50 point. We got to go back one of these days and say,
oh, we will once we get toward the end of the season.
Yeah.
We get into the playoffs.
The biggest disappointment this year is going to be Martin Truex Jr., and that might be the biggest flub in the history of any podcast, radio show, TV show, whatever you want to call it.
Well, and it's hard to predict. If you looked off what he did last year, I mean, he missed the playoffs last year.
But here's the thing. He was fifth in points last year and missed the playoffs.
That's true.
That was where.
Yeah. And he didn't win a race. He was only in it in a couple of them, really. And there was a lot of talk about, was he going to walk away? And there's still talk about, is he going to walk away after this year? But yeah, you're right. Brent, Martin Truex Jr., what he's doing lately, he's the guy to beat now.
Well, and here's the thing. Monday races, I was listening to the morning drive with Petey and Baggy, and I think they said something like of the last 12 races run on Monday, Martin Truex Jr. has won like 7 of them or something like that.
That's nuts.
The dude is like Monday Martin. What was the old saying? The only things that hold true on Monday are death, taxes, and a Raiders win on Monday night. And Martin Truex Jr. winning on Monday.
On Monday afternoon.
And not just winning. I don't think we've seen a domination like this since Martin Truex Jr. in the Coca-Cola 600.
It was definitely dominant. He really kind of just went out, and it was his race to win. Early on, Christopher Bell looked really good, but that team keeps shooting itself in the foot every week, it seems like.
But hold on, Christopher Bell looked good. Yes, Christopher Bell looked good. Led 1 lap. But he looked good. Eric Almirola looked like he was going to be good. He led 4 laps.
And then his team doesn't put the hub on. I mean, that's...
But people were saying, oh, this guy looked good. This guy looked good. Eric Almirola led 4 laps. Christopher Bell led 1 lap. William Byron led 9 laps. Ricky Stenhouse, at some point during a pit cycle or something, led 3 laps. Austin Dillon led 12 laps. Kevin Harvick led 10 laps. 254 of 301 laps.
Yeah, it's probably the most dominant performance at New Hampshire since that ill-fated year they tried putting the restrictor plates on, and Jeff Burton led every lap of the race and won.
That was awful.
So I just think, though, Martin Truex Jr. has pretty much sent the message now that it doesn't matter where we race. He's going to be a guy to beat. I don't care if we're on a mile, a half mile, we're on a big super speedway, or we're on a road course. It's hard to pick against him right now.
When you talk about the 3 manufacturers, we've talked about the Fords being very, especially betting-wise, right? Fords are always the dog every week, and they're there for a reason. Chevy has been the top dog. But Chevy has the weakness on the tracks that the Fords are good on. Chevy's weakness is that flat track. Unfortunately for Chevrolet, that is Phoenix, right? That's where the big check gets cut. That is Chevy's Achilles heel right now, is the short track and this flatter style, mile, Phoenix-y style place. Toyota is overall probably the best make when it comes to all the style tracks. Super speedway, mile and a half, and the short track.
But it's almost like it's different drivers. Like on the super speedway, it's Denny and Bubba.
But they got that
right. But you go to Phoenix. If you went to Phoenix tomorrow, you're saying I'm picking Martin Truex Jr., right?
Picking Martin. I'm picking Seabell. I'm picking Denny maybe. Denny.
Too many of the Toyota teams have been self-inflicted problems this year, but
I love watching. Sometimes it's fun watching meltdowns when you just go, man, that's pretty funny right there. Let's get to what we do. The Martin Truex Jr. did win New Hampshire in that dominant fashion. He was not the favorite, actually. He was he was second favorite. He was plus 650 to win. Top 3 plus 185. Group A at 240, and Toyota was the favorite at 140 to win to be the winning manufacturer. And then you go to the top 3s. Joey Logano was plus 400. Kyle Larson was plus 240. A lot of chalk heavy at the top of the board, but still, and Martin, we said, was 185. But look at some of the names. This is what we got to look at, man. This season, this new car, since we've come with this car, Motley, how about the resurgence of RFK? Brad Keselowski, another top 5. Kevin Harvick, I said, what have you done for me lately? Kevin at New Hampshire gets it done. Misses a top 3 by 1 spot, was there late in the running. Austin Dillon with a solid run. Chase Briscoe with a much-needed top 10. Bubba Wallace with a stellar top 10 right there. Tyler Reddick, you just talked about him. Solid top 10. You know, I mean,
and you actually just brought up the Chevrolets, and there's only 2 in that top 10 right there. Kyle Larson third, and Austin Dillon.
Not the 2 that you. Kyle Larson, sure,
but you expect to see William Byron there, and
Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott. I'm telling you right now, I'm convinced he is not making the playoffs.
I'm still going to go minus things that we've talked about on air that we don't off air that we're not going to mention on. I still think Chase is going to get a W.
I say he has to win Watkins Glen or he doesn't make it, because I just don't see where he's winning anywhere else. They've not been consistent at all in any ovals, and you can't put your eggs in the Daytona basket.
Well, there's a road course, but unfortunately,
there's 2 road courses.
But did you see who's coming back for Indy?
Our boy
Shane van Gisbergen.
Oh, you got the pronunciation down. I'm impressed.
It's not German. I don't know why I gave him a German accent for the
Kiwi. Well, I think
but
it's probably of German
heritage. Why his face right now is like, what was that?
I think it's of German heritage.
Is it?
Van Gisbergen?
Well, it sounds very German heritage. I mean,
it could be Kiwi. I don't know.
He is a Kiwi, but
he is a Kiwi.
Got a German name. Yeah.
I'm also watching a little baseball, but yeah.
It is hard in the studio, folks. We have TVs.
We got the British Open on. We got who on earth are the JUCO products and the Heartfire playing basketball? I mean, we got some obscure stuff on the TV in this studio.
It's VSiN.
I don't even know who that is.
Season standings, we've been talking about it. Leader in the clubhouse, William Byron, is still your playoff leader with the 4 wins, but Martin Truex Jr. is actually the regular season point leader right now. He's got 17 points. It come out of nowhere, too, honestly. He was sitting 4th, 5th, 6th a couple weeks ago and really climbed up there to get there.
Are you getting off we're going to have more winners?
Yeah, I think I think everybody is safe now that has won a race, that they will be locked in. I do believe that. But this cutoff line, woo, Motley. This is the time of year that I love looking at this cutoff line. We are talking a battle royale. 1 point, and 19 points.
Well, 1 point between 15 and 16, and 1 point between 16 and 17.
So even if we get a winner right now that's not in the top 16, it still makes the cutoff line 1 point with 4 people.
Yeah. Now, if we get 2 winners not in the top
then it's
16 right now,
then you get a little breathing room, but not much. I mean, it doesn't take much, but man, this cutoff line is absolutely amazing. Look at the names that are still in. Chris Buescher, RFK, breathing a little sigh of relief.
Yeah,
He's
Buescher,
got a little
Keselowski have got a little bit of a cushion
Bubba
there.
Wallace in there, Michael McDowell in there, and the guys outside. Look at the dinger with his return to Cup. Look at Daniel Suarez sitting right there.
And look, here, you think about A.J. Allmendinger. You got Indianapolis's road course and Watkins Glen coming up. Look, I think he's going to be a guy to really be looked at there.
It's close. I mean, look, the dinger's right there. And look who's outside. You still got Alex Bowman down there in 20th place. You still got Chase Elliott outside. You still got Austin Dillon outside. You've got some heavy hitters sitting outside here.
Bowman, to be that close, is a miracle given the way he's run lately.
No, and he disappeared again. But isn't that what we said at the start of the season, you and I? We said that about Byron and Bowman. Now, Byron has not disappeared. Byron's been good. Larson hasn't been as good. The whole Hendrick team, I mean, and look, Byron wasn't that great at New Hampshire. I know he led a few laps, but I think part of that was just the
timing.
The Chevys were not good. I mean, let's be frank. The Chevys weren't good. Chevys were second tier there. Absolutely. But, you look at Alex Bowman, that's the MO he has, right? We talk about him. He gets a win. We bet him a few weeks, and then we stopped betting him because you stopped talking about him. And then all of a sudden, they figure it out, and Alex Bowman wins 2 more races. So that's the fear with Hendrick, right?
He doesn't win one of these last 6. It isn't going to matter that much.
He can do it by points still. I do believe, you asked about Chase Elliott, I do believe Chase is going to take a win. but Bowman is consistent.
Well, if Chase takes a win, that makes it even harder for Bowman to get in by points.
Understood.
Well, Brendan, I'm going to ask, where do you think Chase Elliott could get the win? Are you more likely on the road course, or you think
I say Watkins Glen is his only realistic choice.
Look, you look at the upcoming schedule. Chase Elliott won this race last year.
Okay, he didn't finish first.
Okay, but he won the
race day.
He can win at Richmond. He can win at Michigan. He can win at Indy, and he can win at Watkins Glen, and he can win at
He can
Daytona.
win. He can win anywhere. He's not going to. Watkins Glen is the one I think he really, really has to zero in on.
I feel like we have a side bet coming up here.
No, I just look. I kind of want to see something.
I don't disagree.
That's all I'm saying. Is I've seen nothing out of Chase Elliott right now that makes me think he's going to be a contender to win or make the playoffs at all.
Well, let's show the schedule that we're talking about. So this is basically all except one to the playoffs. And it starts with what we just said, Pocono, what we're going to talk about this week. Then you got Richmond, Virginia.
By the way, that highpoint.com, I don't think has anything to do with the town in North Carolina
Highpoint,
either.
North Carolina?
So I think it's they're just trying to mess with you on these sponsors.
They are too. Cookout, though. At least we got
know what Cookout is.
We know what Cookout
That's
is.
not in our backyard.
Trust me, I know what Cookout is. Firekeepers Casino 400, Michigan. I'll be there with the Beard Oil team. We're coming to that race, our first non-super speed race.
You're actually going to go?
Yep, I'm going to go.
Okay, good.
And then the road course at Indy, which might be the last one for Cup, and Watkins Glen and the GoBowling.com at the Glen.
And then we only have one race left in the regular season, Daytona.
So eclectic schedule coming up here, really kind of cool. Pocono, of course, the Tricky Triangle. It is a super speedway race, so much fun. Race is Sunday, July 23rd at 2:30 Eastern. Chase Elliott finished third last year, but won the race without leading a single lap. We'll talk about it when we come back. We go to give you the odds and all of the great stuff that Mr. Motley and I, or at least I tell you.
This is Gone Racing, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
And a very excited green flag back out in the air.
Only you and I will appreciate it. It's like we got Harold Kinder and Doyle Ford all rolled into one over there. You and I would appreciate older race fans listening.
Nobody else understands that. We do.
We do.
Is that the Earl Ross
that could be an Earl Ross nugget for the day. I mean,
but Harold Kinder and Doyle Ford pretty much encompass about 35 years of NASCAR as the flag.
But nobody else knows that except for, hell, I bet even like Jimmy Johnson and those guys don't know that. That's just, those were guys that I paid attention to.
Yeah, maybe so.
They were the really famous.
Harold was in the flag stand at Talladega and barely missed Richard Petty's car and Bobby Allison's car, both of them, I think.
He's the one that he was ducking and almost got hit. Okay, welcome back in. It is the highpoint.com, 400, 300, whatever it is.
I don't think it's a technology company, right? It's not High Point, North Carolina.
Again, I thought
I don't think it's the Convention Bureau in High Point, North Carolina sponsoring the race in Pennsylvania.
But it is Pocono, and of course, I do love Pocono. Do you know that they asked me to be? You know how you guys get a driver every year to do your?
Oh, I know this.
They asked me. It was COVID year.
I was on the call that day when they picked you.
They get a thing where every track gets to pick a driver to do their pre-race PR for the year, and all these names were left for Pocono to pick, and they called my name, and NASCAR went, he doesn't drive anymore, and they go, we don't care, we want him.
I even texted a guy and said, hey, you realize he's not going to be racing at Pocono, right? Well, it doesn't matter.
They called me, but I love the family. The Mattiolis are great. They're fantastic up there. Love Pocono, love the track. It is only track that you actually get scared going down a straightaway. It's that.
I tell you, there have been some, I guess I remember what Ken Schrader, Jeff Gordon, Bubba Wallace, all going into turn one, losing the brakes. And
I lost a motor going in, and it's the scariest
Dale
thing.
Jarrett may have had one of those. We had some bad ones on the backstretch. Remember with Steve Park and Dale Jr.?
But turn one, I'm telling you. Turn
Darrell
one.
Waltrip, Davey Allison back there.
Turn one scares the hell out of you. I got to tell you, man. But the guys that aren't scared of it, apparently, when we talk about Pocono driver track stats, Denny Hamlin, we're talking almost 50% top five here. Jeff, 50
and
wow.
like a 67% top 10.
I mean, some amazing stats here from guys. Even Chase Elliott, 8 out of 13 top 10. Look at some of these numbers. And even Kevin Harvick, he's at the bottom with 43 starts, 15 top fives, and you go, oh, well, it's not as good as Denny Hamlin. 22 top. I mean, phenomenal stats here for some guys. Even Brad Keselowski, look at that. 15 top 10s and 25 starts. So there are some guys with some amazing numbers here. And, of course, Chris Buescher's on this because he had the fog year where they had to call the race for fog, and they took a shot at it. So
I think this is a real driver's track, though. I mean,
is.
we rarely, okay, Chris Buescher notwithstanding, because we had a weather situation, we don't typically see a big upset here.
You see fuel mileages, you see upsets that way, but let me tell you something. Scariest turn in the sport, turn 1. You're doing the fastest you've done, your motor's about to blow up, and you see a 90-degree turn. It is the most frightening thing. Biggest cojones turn in the sport, turn 2, because it's flat foot, super flat, and then a driver
and the bump
and
going
you
over
got
the tunnel.
The tunnel bump right there. Everything about turn 2 is just frightening and scary when you're going to it. Downshifting, I mean, unbelievable. And turn 3 is a driver's turn. St. Louis, Phoenix, New Hampshire, flat, faster than all of them, and you're just dancing. It is absolutely a super fun track as a driver.
And if you don't get off turn 3,
you're screwed for the whole straightaway.
You got a long straightaway.
I also don't understand why there's only 3 turns there. If Las Vegas Motor Speedway has 4, then Pocono has 6. Let's get into the odds to win. There are 2 turns at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. One over there, one over there.
Theoretically, every oval's got 1 turn, right?
Well, they have straightaways, so there'd be 2.
Well, that's I guess I'm saying 1 in each end.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
So if we call ovals 4 turns, then Pocono should have 6.
Maybe Pocono's got 5 because the tunnel turn is not like a turn like the others. That's just a little gray. Because if you think about
the old kink at Phoenix.
well, if you want to get truthful about it, then Las Vegas Motor Speedway should be considered a big turn down the whole front straightaway. Really, you start turning going into turn 3,
you don't have to lift in
stop
Vegas. You
until
don't have to
turn
lift
2.
in Vegas.
My point is, you
Pocono,
start
you gotta
turning on most of these ovals going into turn 3, and you don't stop turning until you come off turn 2, really.
True. Well,
That's all I'm saying. These big, sweeping D-shaped tracks like Richmond, Kansas.
It's the first ever turn debate in Gone Racin history.
it's better.
it would
It's better
be-
than our crapshoot debates.
It wouldn't be fun if Brendan and I couldn't find something just to disagree about.
We need to give people odds, which is what we're supposed to be doing here.
Yeah,
And
it is a gambling show.
Yes, it is. Yes, this is a gambling show. We're supposed to be talking about gambling, so let's get to that. And we start off with our favorite this week, the guy that should be the favorite every week, but he's co-favorites. Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, all favorites. All Toyota. Oh, no, not all Toyotas. Forgot. Kyle Busch isn't Chevy.
Cowboys, yes.
Kyle Larson, 750. William Byron, 900. Double digits from there. Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, 11. Chase Elliott, 12. Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, 14. Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, 16. Daniel Suarez, Bubba Wallace, 28. Ty Gibbs, Brad Keselowski, 35 to 1s. And Jeff, William Byron at 900. And Ross Chastain was good here. If you remember, this was the Denny Hamlin Ross Chastain debate last year, where Denny just did him in, and Ross was fast. So, the double digit on Ross Chastain.
A couple other double digit ones that jump out at me. A guy who seems to always be good here is Ryan Blaney, and he's 11 to 1. And the guy who, granted, he crossed the finish line 4th, but he placed 2nd here last year, Tyler Reddick, and now he's moved into a Toyota, and we know how good the Toyotas have run at this racetrack. Tyler Reddick at 14 to 1. I think both of those really kind of jump out at me. Bubba Wallace is going to run here at 28 to 1. And Brad Keselowski, the guy's been good every week, and he's been pretty solid here at this racetrack. I mean, I think he's finished in the top 10 in half of his starts.
No, and maybe not for the win. Maybe that Bubba Wallace for the win might be a little long, but the Toyota's been so good at the big, fast motor tracks. 28 to 1 when we get to top 3s might be something we talk about a little more. Let's get to the second page. The second page has a couple anomalies on it to me. You start with Alex Bowman at 35 to 1, and that's a guy that can win this race in my opinion. So that one's a tough one for me to say he should be second page. Then you jump big gap. Chris Buescher 60, Austin Dillon.
Former winner here, Chris Buescher.
Yeah, that's
right.
Mean,
he did win here. I mean,
yes, he did.
Nobody has to. They don't draw pictures on the scorecard.
Can't take away from it. Austin Dillon, AJ Allmendinger at 90s, Eric Almirola 100, and then massive long shots after that. I mean, even Chase Briscoe, I don't think we need to go that far down to talk about those guys. But Alex Bowman, I mean, Hendrick Carr, this is a guy with 9 starts, 4 top 10s, 2 top 5s, and a win here. So 35 to 1, and we talk about how Alex Bowman disappears, and then all of a sudden, bang, he shows up. 35 to 1.
Well, and that's the thing. If this is bang week, then that's great. 35 to 1. I just, me, I'm not going to go and get behind a guy until he shows me something. And right now, Alex Bowman hasn't really shown me anything.
But you get ahead of the curve and you hit that week because you know that, look, those guys win any given week.
Yeah, it says the guy that's 50 points ahead of the rest of us in the standings, so you might as well go pick Alex Bowman.
But I'm just saying.
Is it really that much?
Yeah.
So a 35-1 would only cut the margin in half.
You need 2 of those. Let's get to the top 3s because this is where I think that first page is really going to come in. Martin Truex and Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, all very, very, very small, plus 150s. Kyle Larson, 200. William Byron, 250. Blaney, Chastain are 300. Chase Elliott, 350. Tyler Reddick, Seabell, 4s. Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, 450. Daniel Suarez, Bubba Wallace, 800. Ty Gibbs, 9, and Brad K, 9. This is where I like what you were talking about. That Bubba Wallace number, plus 800.
Yeah, and you know the other thing here.
Forget his stats. He's just run well lately. I mean, he's got 2 top 10s here, by the way. Bubba has 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s in 9 starts. And what have you done for me lately? 5th in 2021, 8th last year.
And I think we've seen this entire year, him getting more and more comfortable. I mean, he's showing more confidence right now. Here's what I see up here. Now, look, I honestly do believe Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr. probably finish in the top 3 unless something goes wrong. I mean, they're so good here.
They're so good here.
But I tell you what, the last few weeks, Kyle Busch's team has not been good. And to me, I'm looking at that and saying, okay, somebody.
I can fade that.
Somebody who's plus 200 or more is going to get a top 3. Because I don't think Kyle Busch is finishing in the top 3 this week.
No, I mean, I'm fading him a little right now until they make a little bit of a comeback, but I still like a lot of these numbers. And when you get to the second page, I'm going to kick off with that same guy I just talked about for the win. Alex Bowman is plus 900. I like that. Chris Buescher's 15. AD is 22 with AJ Allmendinger. Eric Almirola, 28. Priest, Stenhouse, Haley, Eric Jones, Briscoe, all at 40s.
There's a little bit of road course characteristic to this track. And Allmendinger, 22-1. Kaulig cars.
That's and RFK's been really good this year. Chris Buescher's been solid top 10s, pushing top 5s.
Hey, he's comfortably in the playoffs right now unless we get a couple of upset wins.
So I mean, there's some deals here, but plus 900 for Alex Bowman. Okay, you don't think he's going to win. Plus 900 for a top 3, Jeff. That gets you 1/6 of the way back to, getting to me. So, I mean, it's close.
I knew that was coming.
I like it.
Let's see. How about let's go for Corey LaJoie for a top 3, and I really need it this week.
Oh, but I mean, hey, listen, Corey's been running pretty darn good. I mean, I wouldn't say top 3s,
well, I was
but
say, that just tells you how far behind Brendan that I am. I need Corey LaJoie to finish in the top 3.
Here's the problem with the Corey LaJoie. Let's just not to pick on Corey. They've been running great, but you don't see this is a track where motor, aero, the whole package has to come in. Spire just doesn't have that whole package.
I ain't picking Corey LaJoie either. But.
We come back head-to-heads and get into the groups.
This is Gone Racing, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
Want to rewatch any part of today's show or any past show for that matter? Check out the Gone Racin podcast. It's free and available now at VSiN.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcasts. We give you all the latest news, odds, and everything you need to know to head straight to the betting counter before each and every NASCAR Cup race. While you're there, catch up on all the great VSiN shows as well. VSiN.com/podcasts. Mr. Jeffrey Motley, we are back in the fabulous VSiN studio at the it's okay South Point Hotel Casino Spa.
We've got plenty of South Point gear on today, though.
We take our privilege, right? I mean, so everybody knows that most of the guys on VSiN wear their sports coats and all that, and anybody that's known me in my career knows that probably isn't going to be my preferred. So we do get a little privilege here as long as we wear our South Point 400 gear. We get kind of a pass.
Hey, you guys are wearing collars.
Yeah, collared shirts.
And you made it through the whole season without showing up with your shirt on inside out.
Oh, God. I did do that.
And I've made it through the entire season without starting the show talking into no microphone.
We've done both. Professionally, unprofessional. Yes, I showed up and we started the show and my shirt was inside out.
That one's impressive.
That was a good
really
one.
Impressive.
And then Motley did start a show with.
I'm looking around and the microphone was sitting down beside of me.
It was on the floor. Jeff started talking and it was like, so while Jeff grabs his microphone that is on the floor.
So we've had a couple of single shots this year. One or not this year, but on this show. One while you're changing a shirt and while I'm finding a microphone.
Well, professionally, I'm getting T-shirts. I'm getting T-shirts. It's going to be the pit crew. The picture is going to be the pit crew all battered and bruised because of the
Oh yeah.
Notice that picture is like disappeared.
Oh yeah, it's gone into oblivion.
Oh yeah.
Don't
Never
worry.
to be seen again.
When the picks come from last week, I'll hype myself up here a little bit.
All right, so let's get to our head-to-heads.
You know, even a 100 hitter hits a home run every once in a while, right? Yeah, just saying.
Even a blind squirrel, the old saying.
You got it.
Head-to-heads this week, there are some decent returns right here, and a couple of them that I like. And the one that pops out on the page to me is a plus 120 William Byron to a minus 140 Kyle Busch. You and I both agree that we're fading Kyle a little bit at the moment. And William Byron plus 120, your playoff point leader, one of the hottest guys, maybe not the hottest right now. Truex is kind of taking that mantle, but William Byron isn't too far removed from the hottest guy in the sport. He's getting a plus 120 in a head-to-head battle. I really like that.
Well, you know how I said earlier, I said it's kind of fun when you and I disagree? Well, then we're
disagreeing
not
on
having
this
any
one.
fun right here because I'm 100% agreement with you. And not only that, but I am on the don't Kyle Busch big time this week. Kyle Larson plus 110 and Ross Chastain
plus
plus 115. I'm really going on the don't line with Kyle Busch. I love you, Kyle, but I mean, right now, I think Kyle would even say, look, he had the hat trick last week. He wrecked in practice. He wrecked in qualifying. He wrecked in the race.
We call that a Johnny West Townley.
Well, God rest his soul.
Oh, God, I forgot. Oh,
yeah,
dang it.
See, that's harsh, man.
Sorry. Can't take that one back. No rewind.
Yeah, well,
I didn't mean it that, but
I understand, but I feel bad. I mean, every time I think, though, he actually won a truck race in Vegas. But unfortunately, I can never get out of my head he and Spencer Gallagher rolling around on
Gateway.
turn 2 at Gateway.
Yeah. Spencer can't get that out of his head either.
No.
So what we do like, though, I don't disagree. I mean, Kyle Larson. I mean, here's a guy, Kyle Larson, right? I mean, Larson is phenomenal everywhere we go, and he is, but Kyle Larson, what have you done for me lately? 4 wins last 10 races, 8 top 10, 7 top 5s last 10 races. You look at what he's done, and don't forget, that stat I just gave you has one that he was disqualified. So if you took the 10 races, he actually has 5 wins, 9 top 10s, 8 top 5s in the last 10 races. Yeah.
That's pretty strong.
I mean, that's why. But if you go for being faded right now, because of what we've seen right now, I do like the William Byron 120. I do. That's my favorite one in the head-to-head matchups. Let's jump into our, of course, the perennial favorites here on Gone Racin is our group matchups, and there are some really fun numbers here as well this week. The Westgate is definitely trying to give us some enticement, and they start right off the bat with Group A, Denny Hamlin at 245, Marty Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch 265, and Kyle Larson 320. Jeff, the hottest guy in the sport right off the bat is not your favorite at 265?
Yeah, right here, I mean, first off, I like Truex to win the race, but I'm going to like him a lot if he keeps running like this. I really, and we just said it a minute ago, I'm really not feeling Kyle Busch right here.
Busch.
So maybe this is a 3-person group. My problem is the 2 guys I think that are probably going to win this group are the 2 at the top.
But I
don't think Kyle Larson wins this group.
Then you got a 2-man horse race at 245, 265. It's still not a bad return. Kyle Larson 320. It's Kyle Larson 320. I mean, come on, Kyle Larson 320.
Yeah, I know. It's if I didn't think Truex and Hamlin were so much better than everybody else here, then I'd love to jump all over Kyle Larson.
You ready for the last 4 for Kyle Larson here? 5th, 9th, 2nd, 5th.
Yeah, but how did he do in comparison to Truex and Hamlin in those races? See, that's my point. He's got to beat those 2 guys.
I get
Not
it.
to mention Martin Truex Jr. is the hottest guy in the sport right now.
No, that's what I started with was here's the hottest guy in the sport. You're giving that number. Not terrible. Group B, Ross Chastain is your favorite with William Byron at both 250, Christopher Bell 285, and Chase Elliott 305. If I'm going to take a Chase bet, this is my Chase bet. If I think that Chase Elliott is going to start winning races, is going to start performing, I like this here because Ross Chastain, William Byron, 250s. We know what Chastain was doing last year before the Hasselhoff happened. William Byron, like I said a minute ago, was one of the hottest. Still kind of there. Seabell, but there's something to me, and I think I told you what I say 2 weeks ago, something like that. I'm going to keep betting Chase Elliott because he's going to win before the playoffs happen. I like a 305.
This group here, I'm all over the board on this group. I obviously I've said I'm not feeling Chase Elliott. Christopher Bell, I see him leading laps early, and I see the team making a mistake. Which one good thing about Pocono is the kind of racetrack that you can make a small mistake on pit road and you can kind of typically recover from it. William Byron, the guy's been one of the top guys all year long. Chastain, we know, runs well here. I can make a case for and against everybody here. So this is my group where I'm just throwing up the big X.
See, but to me, this is the group that I've got enticed. And here's a great look. I don't feel Chase Elliott for the win. I don't feel Chase Elliott for the top 3 at 350. But he's a 350 top 3 or a 305 to beat this. I don't think any of those guys win this race. So,
and that's fair. I don't disagree with you.
So I like the 305 on Chase Elliott.
But I also like a little bit the guy who has had the most wins all season is leading the points is in a Group B.
I'm gonna stick with my gun there. Group C. We start off with Tyler Reddick at 235, a big favorite. Harvick and Blaney 270, and Logano 320. This one scratched my head, Jeff. I had to look at this. Logano, last 10 races, 4 top 10s, no top 5s.
Yeah, Pocono has not really been his.
And the 2 that are top 10s, 7th and 10th.
Yeah.
Okay, he made it.
Yeah, so, I do know that this track has not been one of his better tracks, which I'm sure why he's a plus 320 in a Group C. Harvick, I mean, he's been good here for
best point getter in the last 10 races, by the way.
And Blaney's a guy who's won here, who's been in contention here a number of times. It's funny. Reddick's the favorite here. He finished second last year. They haven't been as good this year as I thought they were going to be.
But I just talked about the style of tracks that Fords have been good on, the style of tracks that Fords haven't been good on. Harvick, what have you done for me lately? 27th here last year. Before that, 4th, 8th, 2nd, 1st. But what have you done for me lately? This is not a blue oval track. This is not I named the tracks that were blue oval style lately, right? Those flat Phoenixes, New Hampshires, that deal. This is not them. So having Logano as a big dog, I see it. I can see the stats. I agree. Blaney and Harvick tied. I see that, which leaves me a Toyota and a guy that's been fast. I think that by process of elimination, to me, the way the blue ovals run versus the Toyotas, what we know Reddick can do at a place like this makes me lean very heavily to Reddick. And at 235, that's not terrible.
No, I don't disagree. And that's I guess I kind of lean a little bit your way too. I mean, I see Reddick here as probably he should be the favorite in this group. Boy, plus 320 on Joey Logano. It's like, how do you not take Joey Logano in a Group C at 320? But there's rationale for not doing it.
Big rationale. I mean, I'm looking down here. Big rationale. 11th best point getter. Last 10 races. Big rationale. All right, let's go into Group D, and we got the guy I talked about on the top 3 side. Alex Bowman is your co-favorite with Daniel Suarez at 255s. Ty Gibbs, 290. Austin Dillon, 290. Chevy, Toyota.
You going to use your same theory again?
No, this is too evenly matched because you got Toyotas and Chevys. But if I pick who's the best team, it goes right to the favorite of Alex Bowman. But Daniel Suarez has been running really well lately.
Yeah, Suarez, I think, has had a couple of good runs at this racetrack. In fact, I think he ran fairly well here last year.
He's 4 top 10s, 2 top 5s, last 10 starts.
And Ty has been fast.
Ty's been running. Lately, he's cooled off. He's cooled off just a hair lately.
And this is a track he doesn't have a lot of.
He's got a little experience,
a little
on
bit,
it,
but not
much.
a lot.
And this place is intimidating. A young kid like that, that could go both ways. He could.
Well, sometimes those young kids are too young and dumb to realize they should be scared too.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he could just blow right by it, or he could go, "Holy cow, this is intimidating." So, to me, this is the one that I struggle with the most. If I'm going to pick the best team there, it's Alex Bowman. Dillon has got decent stats there, but this one to me is my man. It's tough for me. All right, guys, when we come back, we'll finish the groups, the props, and give you our picks.
This is Gone Racing, VSiN's premier NASCAR betting podcast. Here are your hosts, former NASCAR driver Brendan Gaughan and Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Jeff Motley.
White flag is in the air. One more segment to go, Mr. Motley. And we are still breaking down the highpoint.com 400 at Pocono. And we got 2 groups left. We just wrapped up Group D. Group E kicks off with a 3-way tie. This is kind of the boring group if you want on the odds at least. Eric Jones, Justin Haley, Eric Almirola, 270s. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 275.
Next group.
Well, I mean, look, there's money and everything, right?
Yeah.
To me, Justin Haley, that colleague team's probably the best team.
What, do we get some news breaking on?
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to affect anything right now. I mean,
really?
I don't. Honestly, And yeah, Justin Haley just announced that he's going to go next year. He's going to go drive for Rick Ware. Colleague isn't in the big reindeer games, right? They're not in the big Chevy meetings. So I don't think that this is really going to.
So let's see. We got a driver who's switching manufacturers, a driver switching teams, a driver who may be retiring, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
I mean, look.
Well, that process elimination, let's take Stenhouse. He's got the most stable situation.
And he's run the best this year. I mean, Stenhouse does.
Jones had a good run last week. He finished 11th, which was pretty good for the Legacy team.
That Legacy Motor Club, which has fallen off the face of the earth, had at least a decent blip on the radar. So, but this is one that I think is, to me, another one of those that's a little difficult too.
Yeah, I guess I got two groups I'm throwing up the X on this week. This is the other one.
Now, our favorite group, though, Group F. Ryan Preece, your favorite, 265. Michael McDowell, how is he not the favorite in Group F at 265? Chase Briscoe, 280. Austin Cindric at 290.
I'm filing a protest.
The weird thing
here is... Do you know who is not in a group this week?
Chris Boucher's not in a group.
I'm filing a protest, although he didn't win us any money last week.
Chris and Brad Keselowski not in a group this week, which kind of bums me out. Those are two guys who have been cashing the most tickets.
We are sticking it to Wyatt Tomczyk.
That's right. They don't want either one of those.
We're not going to let in fact, I'm surprised they put a top 3 on Keselowski just to
piss him off.
Wyatt.
I get it.
They wanted. They knew we won with Keselowski last week, so they're like.
So you couldn't do it again this week.
Couldn't double down. But how about this though? You want to talk about Group F? Normally has like Aspire Motorsports and a front row, right? You've got a playoff driver in Michael McDowell, Stewart Haas Racing with Ryan Preece and Chase Briscoe, and Penske Racing with Austin Cindric. You want to talk about wow? If that's kind of embarrassing on a few of these teams, and the worst is. I like Michael McDowell the best.
I do too. In fact, Michael McDowell to me should be the favorite there. We've talked about having confidence and having momentum. Michael McDowell's team definitely has confidence, and they got some momentum going. I like them there.
I can take the same theory I threw out earlier. There's 3 Fords and a Chevy, and I take Preece in the Chevy because I think the Chevys run better. But McDowell, you're talking about a playoff driver who has a crew chief right now that has bigger guts than anybody in the sport. At 265.
I like McDowell here.
In Group F.
I'm with you.
I think that's one heck of a shot right there on a Group F guy.
Isaiah said that all these guys are Fords in this group.
Ryan Preece is in a Chevrolet.
Fords.
They're
all
Fords.
Fords, that's right.
All 4 Fords.
Oh, they all 4 Fords.
Yeah,
I forgot Preece is not at JTG. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Isaiah, for correcting that. So all 4 Fords, that even makes my point even more for McDowell. That takes my little point there. And why I'm sure Isaiah is down there right now. Don't break your arm, Isaiah. I make plenty of mistakes.
He had a little giggle.
He is waving that black flag like
that was a black flag
downstairs.
right there. I was thinking JTG with Preece right there instead of Stewart. And I even said he was Stewart Haas, and then I called it a Chevy. Impressive.
Sorry, we are professionally unprofessional.
Yes, we are.
Just got to live up to our name.
We need. Can we file for a trademark on that?
We should.
We should.
I want residuals.
Let's get to our prop bets.
Unlike the Screen Actors Guild believes they're getting right now.
Chevrolet is your favorite, of course, at 120. Toyota is plus 140. And Ford's, for obvious reasons, plus 300. I still don't entice me to go on a Ford. I can't name a Ford that I think would win this race.
No, but you're going to tell me that you've got Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. in the fold, and your manufacturer's not
plus
the favorite?
140. I'm with you. I think that. But that's a sheer numbers game right there.
Well, see, this is my thought.
14 Chevys and 6 Fords.
Right, I don't know
Toyotas.
if I should pick Truex or pick Denny Hamlin to win or to win their group, but I know I get both of them if I take Toyota right here. I'm just saying.
I like it. I don't disagree with the Toyota, and that's a decent shot right there. Fords, though, man.
No Ford. No. I like Toyota here.
Plus
really
300. It's not even enticing us. We're not even going, I think I want to go for a Ford. Let's take a quick peek at our championship odds, and there has been a massive mover.
If you didn't get in early on
Martin Truex Jr.,
sorry.
You ain't getting in on him now.
In fact, I think I might still bet him at the plus 500 right now, the way he's going.
The way he's running. But look where Chase Elliott has finally gone, Jeff. Last week at 10-1, I said he wouldn't probably drop any further. 14-1, Chase Elliott.
And I don't see much movement here until we have a road course or two. Because I don't think he's going to win until we get to potentially a road course. If he goes into Daytona and he doesn't have a win, I think you're going to see that number be about 30-1. Because keep in mind, even if he were to get a win and get in the playoffs, he has almost no playoff points.
I know, but still, these are big numbers, man. 14-1 for not the reigning, but a recently removed Cup champion. Tyler Reddick, 25-1.
But I see a former champion at 25-1.
Exactly.
I see a former champion at 28-1.
Yeah, they're running about that round. I mean, Alex Bowman at 50-1. This is a guy that, turns it on at the right time, and he's right there. There's some big numbers in the futures here. Remember, futures are a great way to hedge some bets, place them while they're hot, and there's some guys that you can get at good numbers. All right, let's talk about my favorite part of the show, which is how well we did last week. And, of course, we goes without saying who was the best last week again.
No, the pit crew won the week last week.
I know, but I'm still in the head.
They did pick a race winner. We haven't had that happen very often.
We picked a race winner, and they massive comeback to Jeff Motley. Remember, Jeff was bragging a couple weeks ago,
That's right,
Wyatt, about, they're .2ing me to death, and I said, well, yeah, Jeff, you were just slowly moving back to him.
Yeah, they didn't point to me this week.
We're entering the same turn right now.
I'm just saying, you guys are playing the same game now. It's pickleball and tennis. Now you're both playing the same game.
Yeah.
So you're still not playing, rugby.
Yeah, no, we're
with
still
me.
running into a wall right now, trying to catch you.
58 points. That's ridiculous.
I told you, almost 60. But a great week for the pit crew. 11 points. I ended up with 3-4. Got 2 winners. Motley got 1 winner, so he just got his, barely lost any ground.
And we all jinxed Christopher Buescher last week.
And we did too. That kind of bummed me out. But we did all have some good wins in there. Great picks on some of these. So we're doing better this season. And with that, though, we still go worst to first. So we kick off, of course, with our buddy, the pit crew, Wyatt Tomczak. Wyatt, please go ahead.
All right, we're going to go with Kyle Larson over Denny Hamlin at plus 120. I'm like a bird just flying into a nice clean window here with this bet. God, Chase Elliott plus 305. That's just so enticing to win Group B. Kevin Harvick to win Group C plus 270. Eric Jones, who's had some really good runs. He ran well here at Pocono last year. 3 of the last 4 races, he's finished top 15. We got him to win Group E at plus 270. And probably now my third favorite driver on Gone Racing, Michael McDowell to win Group F at plus 265.
Well, I like the stat they threw out about Eric Jones. Nicely done. Very good. I agree.
Okay.
Mr. Motley.
Okay, I'm going to go a couple of head-to-heads. Both don't lines on Kyle Busch here. I'm going Byron at plus 120 over Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson at plus 110 over Kyle Busch. I'm only going into 2 groups this week. I'm going to go into Group D, and I'm going to take Daniel Suarez, and I'm going with the pit crew in Group F on Michael McDowell. So if you pick him, that'll be our jinx for the week. And then I'm taking Toyota to win as the manufacturer. I love that 140 number on Toyota.
See, now you're going to make me have to probably change a pick here at the last second. I'm going through my sheets here. All right, so I'm going to kick off first. I'm going top 3. That plus 900 on Alex Bowman is just screaming. If you remember, you got to pick the time. You can't sit. It's going to happen, so you got to stay ahead of the curve. And Alex Bowman, I like that plus 900 number on him. I am getting one head-to-head. I'm taking William Byron at the plus 120 over Kyle Busch. So a lot of us are doing don'ts on Kyle Busch this weekend, which guarantees that Kyle Busch is going to win this race and lead the most laps and dominate the field so that he can call us next week and tell us, all 3 of us, to take a long walk off a short pier. I am told you I'm betting Chase Elliott until something happens for the playoffs, and I'm taking Chase Elliott in Group B also. He's going to get a win, period. He is going to. And then what else did I have? Chase Elliott Group B. I got 1 pick. No, I got 2 picks. I got Group C. Tyler Reddick. I talked about the theory behind it, right? 3 Fords and the Toyota. Tyler Reddick, 235. I'm going there. And then I'm going to jump off the bandwagon because I don't want to give the Michael McDowell jinx, and I want to be a little contrarian to everybody. I had Michael McDowell Group F. I'm scratching that out. I am going Toyota plus 140. Win the race.
Like that pick.
I know. I don't want to jinx Michael McDowell.
And I appreciate you not picking Michael McDowell because I think maybe the pit crew and I have a chance now that we didn't all 3 pick the same guy.
That's why I said I don't want to give the Gone Racin jinx here. So.
I think we've only had like 1 pick this year that we've all 3 picked and gotten right without jinxing.
Well, let's not forget we thought McDowell won his group, and then
we all were patting
guy
ourselves
finished
on the back.
4th in Group F, and he still lost out.
Group F finished 4th, loses. All right, Molly. Well, we got another professionally unprofessional week of Gone Racin. Great job, and we'll convene next week and talk about Pocono.
Tricky Triangle this week. And where are we going next week? I've even totally forgotten where we're going next week already. Oh, yeah, Richmond, short track.
Short track, Richmond next week. So
one of your favorite racetracks.
Oh, fill it with water. Fill it with water. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week when we break down all the things we did right and wrong.